Okay, college success class. We are going to talk just a minute about your assignments for section 4, which from your textbook, that is habit number 3, which is put first things first. This particular I'm going to go through a couple PowerPoint slides and you can direct your attention to just a few things. So again, you have your see, do, and get model. This time focused on habit number 3. So the paradigms, well, the C part of the model, there are 3 bullets listed for that, and the do part, there's some examples of what an effective person does based on those paradigms, and then the results from that. Then when you look at this, again, we've looked at this a few different times. We're still right here in our private victory section for habit number 3. So that's again, it's a private victory, but after this, we'll be moving toward also public victories, and you'll see a lot of things in your textbook and on your quiz about the time matrix, and this is pretty much what I'm want you to focus on during the when you read this chapter, and think about how this applies to you. So it's basically divided into 4 quadrants, and in your textbook they're numbered as 1 from left to right, 1 and 2, and then at the bottom 3 and 4. That might be different from the way they number quadrants in your mathematical classes or whatever, but that's fine. You just go by for what your book has for this. And in this first quadrant, it's where urgent and important meet. Um, and what makes that, what things fall into that. And not urgent but important is quadrant number 2. That's really where you want to live, and then it says that in the book. That's where you want to, that's where you want to be, because everybody, if you can keep important things and not urgent, that that's really good. Not important but urgent fall in quadrant number 3, and not urgent nor important go over in quadrant number 4. So some things that might go into the first quadrant. Something that might be both urgent and important. The first thing I can think of is if you've ever had kids, or a baby crying or something like that. Generally, that is considered something that just maybe just starts. It just happens, and it also could be important. Okay, so it could also be not having any water to drink, no drinking water or something, no good drinking water. That's could, if there's definitely a shortage of water, that's important and urgent. It could be something that has to be addressed right then. Can't wait. It could be an emergency type meeting, like you're at work or family, whatever. Um, it could also be things that you put off that were important but not urgent at first, like your homework, and you wait till the last minute, and then all of a sudden it becomes urgent. So you don't want to push things that you can put in quadrant 2. You don't want to push them over in there in quadrant 1 or something like that, and definitely nowhere else. But things that were over here in quadrant 2 might be like your important goals. You know, there's no um, way you can say that your current college goals, maybe getting your 4-year degree or whatever, that may be an important goal for you. It's not necessarily urgent, so it doesn't necessarily go right there. So it is important though to you. Um, Maybe you're planning your day. Is it urgent? Maybe not, but it is important. Planning your week, um, those things like that. In quadrant 3, things that are urgent but not important. So, you know, your friend, uh, you know, wants you to come over for something to talk to you, by 3 o'clock. It may not be important, but that urgent time thing makes it important. So maybe your friend's having some kind of minor issue or situation or drama, whatever, and you go, to do that in an urgent way, but it's not necessarily important, especially as far as your principles go, may not be important. Then you have the not urgent and not important quadrant over here. This is waste. Okay, this is trivial things, watching too much TV, spending way too much time on your phone texting, um, things like that, that are just totally wasting your time. So you want to minimize this one right here. I'm not saying you don't have anything that you might have something that goes in there, but you don't spend a lot of your time, percentage of your time in this quadrant. You want to spend the most time in quadrant number 2 because that's where you have it laid out the important details, the important things to occupy your time, and they're not urgent because you've planned them out. You might have some urgent things that do pop up in here that you have to spend some of your time on. Again, hopefully they're not things that were originally in quadrant number 2. You want to try to minimize the distractions. That's what these are called in quadrant 3. They're distractions. So, you want to try to eliminate as many distractions as you can. And then you definitely want to try to eliminate waste that you can. So, quadrant 1 is necessity. Things that have to be done, a crisis or something like that, has to be done right then. It's important. It must be done now. And then, so that's a necessity. The effectiveness quadrant from the time matrix is quadrant number 2. And then the distraction quadrant is quadrant number 3 right here. And quadrant number 4 is your waste quadrant. And then really, so this chapter is just to get you to, look at where you are now. Take a look at your day. And then try to classify those things. And so, like right this second, which quadrant are you working in? I guess you're watching a video right this second. But think of a moment in your day, you know, like this video is not urgent, but it's important because, it's part of your information for your class. But it's not urgent. I mean, it won't be urgent until the due date. So I guess so right now, you're technically, if you're watching this video, you are in quadrant number 2 if you're in this class. So, and then if you're not in this class, then you're probably down here wasting your time looking at quadrant 4. It's not urgent nor important to you. So, but think about think about your day and how much time you spend in these quadrants, and then try to eliminate your ineffective time, your waste time down here. Spending. I think I have read something in the USA Today a long time ago, and makes a good quiz question probably. That last year, the average adult American between the age of say 25 and 54 spent like, I don't know, something like 23 hours a week on their phone or something like that, just doing things like texting, social media, just like, and most of it's just not urgent nor important stuff. So that's like 4.5 hours a day wasted time. Wasted time. That is not a joke. That's a legitimate admission by surveyed adults ages 25 to 54, admitting that it's wasted time. So it falls either that or it's distraction time. So that time right there could be put into things that you could classify as important but not urgent, and free up some other things over here. So if you have to bump something over, you can. But try to keep things in quadrant number two, and that's why your book says, you know, try to live in quadrant two. Um, so you can plan to avoid those crises if sometimes you can put them in quadrant two. Um, but then you should think of ways to put things in quadrant two. What quadrant am I in? Why am I there? How long have I been here? If you've been on Facebook for the past 4 hours or 10 times today, then you've been in that quadrant four way too long. Um, you have to do a weekly plan assignment for this unit, and every weekly planning thing that you should do, you need some quiet time to do that. So you need to make sure that you prioritize that, and plan out your week the best you can. And then, I think you'll have more success staying in quadrant two. You'll definitely be happier if you stay in quadrant two. I find myself putting myself in quadrant one more than I need to, and even in quadrants three and four more than I need to. I can do better. So it's that's the way you have to approach it. I can do better. It's just a matter of improvement. Oh yeah, by the way, you'll have a video quiz on this. It'll be a fill in the blank. The statement that you have to fill in the blank is Mr. Lance currently has blank pet ferret or ferrets, and you have to enter for your answer a one-digit number. So a digit, so 0 through 9. It's a one-digit number is the answer, and I'll tell you the answer for that since you're watching the video. The answer is 2 pet ferrets. I have 2 currently. It's my favorite pet. So right now I have 2, so you'd have to enter the number 2 in there. And then my better half, Jenny, she has named them, and their names are Puffles and Bonbon, but that's not on the quiz. But that's just thrown out there. But I have 2, so you have to put a number 2 for your video quiz to open up the content for your assignments. The assignments for section 4, as you'll see when you get access to it, you have to read the chapter page 122 to 155. I believe that's in the pages out of your textbook. Check your GNTC email and look at Blackboard every day. Keep a check on that. That's something you can plan. Watch the video where I discuss key points for section 4. Well, that's what you're doing right now. And then you have to take the section 4, the video quiz number 4, excuse me. You have to take that before you can access certain things. You have discussion board just like normal. You have to do each part by its date. Those are what should also be on the calendar for you. Your responses have to be done by the due date, the final due date of the discussion board. You have a planning my week assignment due before its due date. You have to download a document and complete it, and then upload it back into Blackboard. And then you have to take the quiz on the chapter related to the habit number 3. So just to give you just a brief look at what that looks like, you have the notes. I just went over the PowerPoint part, just the slides themselves. There's nothing extra on there, but you have access to that. You'll have a video quiz you have to take. Once you do that, you'll be able to access your discussions. When you do that, you'll see what you have to do for your assignment. It says that you have to do there's a little survey in your book. You have to complete the survey. It's on page 134. I'm pretty sure that's the right page. If it didn't, you'll find it. And then you have to share your results by listing the indicators to which you answered yes and the ones to which you answered no. And I put this in highlight right here. Yes, you do have to write out all 10 of them, all 10 of the little statements, and your answer for that one. So if it was yes or no. So you can do that, however you want, but you do have to write all 10 of them out. So there are 10 sentences. Basically, you have to write out the sentence and put whether you answer yes or no. And then based upon your score, the number of yes answers out of the 10, are you an urgency addict? 8 to 10 yes answers. At risk of becoming an urgency addict, 5 to 7 yes answers. Or you're free of an urgency addiction, 1 to 4 yes answers. I did and I was, I believe, 5. So I was at risk of becoming an urgency addict. So I'm right there. I have, I can work on, you know, getting better at that. And then, if you do a good post initially for yours, then other people, oh yeah, make sure you use good grammar, punctuation, spelling, all that stuff. Some of you are getting much better at that, by the way. Some of you still are not paying attention. So then you have to reply to 3 other students' authored posts. So if you provide a good initial post where you've written out all the things, all the little indicators, and your yes or no for each one, and shown how you tally up your score, and other people will be able to look at that and make connections with you based on that. They'll be able to look and share with you, and they'll be able to understand that they have the same or different ones than you, that they answered yes or no to. So do a really good job on your discussion by completely following the instructions that you're given here. Okay, so that way there won't be any issues with you, with not getting all your points. In addition, in section 4, I'll just you'll also, once you take your video quiz, you'll get your planning my week assignment access, where you have to download the file. It's right here, attached files. You have to download that and then complete it and then upload it. So once you do that, you'll be able to browse your computer and re-upload it. Just make sure you fix your file name, all that good stuff, and upload that by its due date. And then you have a quiz that you have to take, and that's a multiple choice kind of quiz that you have, like you've been doing for the other habits. So make sure, again, you want to make sure that you've read the chapter thoroughly before you do this quiz, and get all the points that you possibly can for that. So that'll give you an idea of what you have to do. All those things will be, if you'll be able to see them in your calendar. But remember that you're not just done, with your. Don't just go by just your calendar. You have to go by the initial posting things here. I put that in there this time so you could see it. Hopefully you'd be able to do that yourself though at this point. So after this planning unit that we're doing right now, as I stated before, I won't always be doing that for you. So you got to plan that out. So that lets you know when everything is, but everything's due date, but you need to plan accordingly so that you get everything done. And then that way, when you have access to your Section 4 material, you'll be able to do a really good job on it. And as always, email me or call me if you have any questions, and I'll be glad to help you.